One thing I want to ask you guys about with this, and I've seen this in the past, and I have my opinion that it's pretty locked in stone, but what are your thoughts about advertising um financing as like a price? Roof starting at X amount of dollars. Um Obviously with your asterisks and terms and conditions or whatever that looks like I've not personally seen any success in that. I think it comes off a little bit scammy, but what are your guys' thoughts on that, and what do you suggest people do in terms of advertising?
Listen, we got a competitor that's doing something really funny, and it's really, really similar. And I agree with you. I don't like it. I Years ago, and I'm talking like 5 years ago, I did something very similar on Facebook, and it wasn't an offer like that, but it was a our average roof. Our average roof installation is running $7,000, and that's what I put on the Facebook post just to like let people know that's about where call us. This is an average house. And sure as shit, the first person that called was a mansion in Beverly Hills over here that was a $40,000 roof, and it's like, okay, forget it. I'll just delete the post. But regardless, we have a competitor doing something very similar, and what they're doing is roofs as low as 69.99 dot dot dot, and then you click read more in a Facebook post. So they've got it set up to where the read more is right after dot dot dot, and then there's this huge laundry list of shit, and it's like there's nothing that costs 69.99. I don't. I We have roofed single wide trailers, and they're $7,500 almost every time, and that's today. That's today's price. So I don't know where you're doing a 69.99 roof, but a single wide trailer costs more than that. So it just comes off pretty scammy. I don't like the idea. Maybe somebody's having success with it. I don't like it. I like offering that to the customer at the point of sale.
Makes sense. How do you handle the fees associated with financing? Do you try to somehow like discount around them and stuff like that to try to offset
Yeah.
it or anything like that?
This was a big part of me and Chris's conversation because you got this law in place that says that you can't charge for financing. You can on credit card charges. You can't on long-term payment options. I didn't know that, but that is, I guess, the way the law is wrote. Um, you'll hear it, but Chris went on to say you can charge for an ugly fee. You can charge them 10 grand because they're ugly. You can add a line item for an ugly charge. Like there's all these. You can charge for anything. You just can't charge for long term. And that's a terrible thing to say, but that's not directed at somebody. It's just that's how crazy of a law it is. It's nuts.
Yeah.
He's got some really, really interesting ways to present that, and you know I would take a listen to some of his stuff on that. But what we do that works for us is we're very particular about the options we offer because we know every quote we sell or every quote we write in ProLine, it has the option to add in the 3.2% right into the budget of the cost of the job with a cash discount. And that's cash or check, obviously. But so what we do, since we're already charging them that 3.2%, if they're not paying cash or check, which is essentially financing ACH or um, credit card, what we do is we're very intentional about the options that we offer, and ours fluctuate. We've got a couple that are like 1.5% on dealer fee, and we got a couple that are like 4 to 5%. So the reason we do that is we just assume that our average is going to still fall really close to that 3.2% for the credit card fee. So essentially, we're just hoping that that balances out over time. If we lose a percent and a half here or there, we're not going to sweat it. It's not enough to get upset about. At least we got the job, especially in times like we're dealing with right now, where seems pretty tight on leads. But yeah, so we're just really, really intentional about the terms we offer with the dealer fees that come associated with those terms.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. Um, so you guys, you don't include, like, you remove the cash discount if they're doing the financing?
Yeah, if you're
seems-
financing it, you're paying 3.2%.
Yeah. Well, you're just not getting the 3.2% discount.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. You're not getting the discount that would come with a cash or check. You're paying the full Monty. You're paying the 3.2 on top. Now, and they know this is not a secret. Everybody knows, like, that's part of it. And
Yeah.
here's the problem. If not, then we got to be like gas stations. We got to start charging you $2.50 for your Mountain Dew. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Part of the cost of that Mountain Dew is because they assume 90% of the people coming through that door are using a card, or they're going to get charged at 3%. So there's a 3% tacked on top of your Mountain Dew. Well, there's got to be 3% tacked on your roof too. When you're talking a job that's 15, our average ticket's 15 grand, right about. I mean, that's a big chunk. And when our goal is to net, let's say our goal is to net 10%. If we're eating 3% of that, that's a third of the profit gone right off the top. So, I mean, yeah, you have to build it in one way or the other. You have to build it in.
Yeah. Yeah. And as long as they're losing a discount because they didn't pay cash or cash. They didn't pay cash or check. So they're losing that discount as opposed to a fee for doing financing. You're perfectly legal.
You're absolutely legal.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. At some point, we're probably going to, we are at some point going to have embedded financing options in ProLine that are not white labeled, but we'll have a financing partner. May end up being Chris. We'll see. I don't know. I don't think his company's quite in a place for that yet, but we'll figure out the right partner for it, and that's what we'll. The plan was to have it work that way, where if when they're checking out on the invoice, they can just choose financing, and once again, it is deducted. That cash discount is removed.
One of the financing companies that we're working with is called WiseTac, and not to promote a company because that's not what I'm looking to do, but I do enjoy WiseTac because guess what? I think it's 3.2% on every job. It doesn't matter. So they've put in their information. It's a 3.2% dealer fee across the board. WiseTac makes them financing offers. We don't. There is no choosing options. They make the customer an offer, but I know what that finance charge is going to be every time. It's the same as credit card.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah,
that's really nice.